He grew up being told he was special. Straight A's, he's going to be somebody, always the one held up at family dinners as proof his parents did something right. His sister grew up hearing something very different, that she was too much, too sensitive, always the reason something went wrong. Same house. Same parents. Two completely different childhoods. And what happened to both of them psychologically is more damaging than either one of them realizes, even now, as adults. This is the psychology of the golden child and the scapegoat, and by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which one you were, and what it's still doing to you today. In dysfunctional families, something happens that most people never consciously notice. The family doesn't just raise children, it assigns them roles. This comes from something psychologists call family systems theory, which says a family functions like one connected emotional unit. And when that unit is unstable, when there's a parent with unresolved trauma, insecurity, or narcissistic tendencies, the family unconsciously distributes roles among the children to keep the whole system emotionally balanced. Two of the most common roles are the golden child and the scapegoat. The golden child is the one who reflects everything the parent wants to see. Their achievements, their obedience, their image. It becomes proof that the parent is doing well, that the family is doing well. On the surface, this looks like favoritism, like love. But look closer. And what's actually happening is that the golden child's worth becomes entirely conditional. They are loved for performing, not for existing. Every grade, every achievement, every moment of good behavior isn't just success, it's survival. Because somewhere underneath, they've learned that love disappears the moment the performance stops. The scapegoat gets the opposite role. They become the container for everything the family doesn't want to deal with, the tension, the blame, the parts of the parent nobody wants to look at directly. If something goes wrong in the house, it's their fault, even when it isn't. They get labeled the difficult one, the sensitive one, the problem, long before they've done anything to actually earn that label. Now here's the part almost nobody explains, and it's the part that changes how you see both of these roles completely. It would seem obvious that the golden child had it easier. They got the praise. They got the approval. They got to be the pride of the family. But that role comes with a hidden cost that often doesn't show up until adulthood, because the golden child never got to build an identity of their own. Their entire sense of self was constructed around being what someone else needed them to be. So when they fail, and eventually, everyone fails, it doesn't feel like a normal mistake. It feels like an identity collapse. This is why so many former golden children struggle quietly with perfectionism, anxiety, and a fear of failure so intense it can be paralyzing, because failure was never just failure to them. It was the end of being loved. The scapegoat's pain looked more obvious on the outside, but here's the twist: it often built something the golden child never got the chance to build. Because the scapegoat never had approval to lose, they were forced to develop their own sense of self, independent of what anyone else thought of them. They learned early that they had to be self-reliant, because nobody was coming to rescue their reputation. And while that came from real pain, it often produces adults who are more emotionally self-aware, more resilient, and paradoxically, more psychologically free, because their self-worth was never handed to them by someone else's approval in the first place. This doesn't mean being the scapegoat was fine, or that it didn't leave real wounds. Feeling like the permanent problem in your own family leaves deep scars, often showing up as chronic self-doubt or a belief that you're fundamentally not enough, even when every part of your adult life proves otherwise. But it does mean the story isn't as simple as golden child equals winner, scapegoat equals loser. Both roles were assigned without consent. Both roles served the family system, not the individual child. And both roles left a version of that child still operating today, whether they've noticed it or not. If you were the golden child, you might still be chasing approval in every relationship, every job, every achievement, still performing for love instead of simply receiving it. If you were the scapegoat, you might still expect to be blamed before you're even given the benefit of the doubt, bracing for criticism that isn't even there yet. Neither pattern was your fault. You didn't choose your role. You were assigned it before you were even old enough to understand what a role was. But recognizing it now is the first step to finally stepping out of it, to separating who you actually are from the role a broken family system needed you to play. If this described your childhood, you're not alone, and you're not stuck there. Understanding the pattern is what makes it possible to finally rewrite it. If this video helped you make sense of your own family dynamic, let me know in the comments which role you recognized yourself in, and if you want to go deeper into how these childhood roles shape adult relationships, that's coming in the next video. Subscribe if you want more of this. See you in the next one.